want to talk about sowing small seeds, which if you've had luck growing large seeds and you want to try your hand at this, I'm going to show you how I do it. There are a lot of different techniques, but these are things that work well for me. I'm going to show you a tray where I have sown Hopi red dye amaranth and then wild thyme on the other side of it, so you can see just the basics of how I do that before I transplant them out into their own containers. So this is what the Hopi red dye amaranth seed looks like. So it's kind of a medium small. And then the first step is to really pick out the right soil. So a lot of soils have big chunks with pieces of bark and other large particles in it that can keep your seeds from germinating or make the soil uneven, and you can always sift those out if you have a mix you like. But I usually will go ahead and use a seedling mix like this that doesn't have any fertilizer or large particles in it, and that is a good investment for starting small seeds. The first thing I'll do, I have these nice little seed sowing flats, and I'll make sure my soil's damp, and then I'll go ahead and press it down nice and flat and even so that I don't have seeds pooling or water pooling in one part of the tray. And then these are the seeds, and I'll just go ahead and try and sprinkle them as evenly as I can. With these larger small seeds, you can still kind of see where they are in the tray if you have pretty good eyesight, and then make sure to space them out. But I always sow extra seeds because you can always thin them out, but if you don't sow enough of them and you get low germination, then you can't magically have more plants. So it's good to go ahead and plant some extras. And then with these larger seeds, I can go ahead and I like to press them down into the soil so they're less likely to move around. You can't really do this with the small seeds because they'll stick to your hands. Like these next guys, so the wild thyme seeds, a lot of things in the mint family have these teeny tiny little seeds that are a little better than dust, but not a whole lot better than dust. And for sprinkling them around, you just do your best to kind of eyeball it. And then I get these dollar store spray bottles and make sure to label them water. And then I'll go ahead and spritz. I'll check at least once a day, maybe twice, and then I'll go ahead and spritz the top. If they even, at first when they're germinating, even if they look a little dry. And then I like to stack these trays because that actually keeps the soil nice and moist. You just have to check them on a regular basis because you don't want the seeds to get too germinated while you're not paying attention. Alternatively, I also like to sow in these little nests if I want to sow directly into pots without having to transplant them out. And then I just put a little sprinkle in the bottom of each one of those. But again, I still use the spray bottle to water so that I don't move them around and flip the little roots out of the soil. And this is what the thyme looks like when it's germinating and when it's got its first set of leaves. These aren't true leaves. They're very delicate at this stage still. You really have to make sure you're watering them pretty regularly. Still with the spray bottle. When they get about, 2 sets of true leaves, then I'll go ahead and transplant. And then they look like this the first day after you transplant, but then they'll pop right back up the second day. In this case, I've moved them from artificial light into the greenhouse, so I keep them covered or in the shade so that they don't get sunburned. And there's the thyme. So yeah, try your hand at it. If at first you don't succeed, try again.